Hi, I'm Scott Garibay, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to buy a computer, right? So this is something that a lot of people do, and essentially, um, this is how. So I'm fortunate to be a computer guy, and a lot of people ask me questions about how to fix different problems on their computer, and I'm fortunate to know enough to help often. So this is a question that I'm pretty oftenly asked: is how do I buy a computer? So basically, buying a computer here's the simple parts of it. Now, or I'm going to boil this down to its basics. Okay, go to Walmart and do not spend $1 over 700 bucks and get as much RAM as possible. Okay, so that is the absolute most important part of the computer is the RAM on the computer, the amount. So you want to get the maximum amount of RAM you possibly can, right? And for under 700 bucks. You also want to understand that I think you should buy a laptop because they're much more portable, right? But you can take this. But if you really want a lot of computing power, and you can take the same money and put it into a desktop, and you'll get more RAM and more storage. Actually, storage doesn't matter anymore. You'll almost never fill the hard drive on any computer at all anymore because the hard drives are so large, and almost all anything that's stored of value, nothing should be kept on your computer, right? So you post your pictures on social network sites. Don't if it's sitting on your hard drive on your computer, consider it gone, right? So you really don't want a huge hard drive because you're not going to really keep anything of it. Anything that's large that you want to keep on the web in the cloud. So the first thing you can do is you can get a Google account, a Gmail account, right? And this connects you to Google Drive, Gmail, YouTube, right? So you can keep all your videos on YouTube. You can keep them private. You can keep all your files on Google Drive, right? The only exception to these are your music collections. Those are so large that you can't really upload them onto, and so you should have an external drive to do that. You should keep your music collection on an external drive. Everything else, if it's important, do not keep it on the hard drive of your computer. Put it up on the web. Email it to yourself through a Gmail account, right? So basically, and then again, maximum amount of RAM, never pay more than $700 for a computer. And the reason why is the computer is junk. It is absolute junk. The hardware is worth nothing, right? So, and it will go down in value the moment you buy it. You'll never be able to sell it. Actually, that's another thing. If you ever want to buy a computer, it's worth 10% of whatever its original value was at absolute maximum, right? So a $1,200 computer, 120 bucks used if it's in good condition, right? So and that's the other thing. Do not ever buy a used computer. I would never buy a used computer more than $100, and I would really avoid buying a used computer. Go to and by the way, do not buy a computer for less than $400. It's just well, you know what? I'm sorry, that's wrong. You can buy that's wrong. Do not buy them for less than 200. Sometimes these numbers will change. Look at the date on this video, right? So this should be good for about a year, right? And then these numbers are going to change. So no less than 200, no more than 700, right? And the reason why I put this out there is a lot of times people will walk into Circuit City or Best Buy, and you'll get somebody who needs just a good computer, and they'll be able to get that. Right now, on the date of this video, that would be 8 megs of RAM, normal Intel chip or any other chip. It's not even important that it's Intel. You'll get multi-core for that amount. And well, they'll end up buying a $2,000 computer that they'll never use even a fraction of the power of, and that's a shame. So basically, never more than 700, never less than 200, never pay more than $100 for any used computer ever, and avoid buying a used computer, and get as much RAM as possible. If you and the other thing is, brand doesn't matter. Asus, anything you find at Walmart is going to be just fine, right? And I used to go and I would shop at more important. But the other thing is people talk about building their own and that kind of thing. And there's incredible value in that. If you can build your own computer, you probably should be listening to this. This is here's a question. So if you are a super high-end video user and you're doing a lot with HD, that kind of thing, then you can break some of these rules. But you should know them before you break them. So that's my advice on buying a computer. and I use that all the time. I buy computers more often than so I buy cheap and I buy often, about every 2 years, every 3 years, right? And some computers, and the other thing is I don't get rid of computers. Some use computers, I'll use them for 5, 6 years, and so often the computers that I do use, I'll use that long. The other one is this is kind of interesting. Is the first thing that's going to fail is going to be the hard drive. I'm sorry, the power supply, and often you can replace that for 20, 40 bucks and get another year or two out of your computer. And so that's generally the only parts on a computer that really ever fail, right? And so hopefully this is helpful, and thank you.